The biggest news story of the year just broke movie-wise, and I'm still trying to process how I feel about Steven Spielberg not directing Indiana Jones 5. And we're going to talk about that right now. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Matt Jarbo here with $3 Theater. I woke up this morning. I was surfing Twitter. I was, looking at the daily movie news, and all of a sudden, this story popped up in my feed. Steven Spielberg won't direct Indiana Jones 5. James Mangold in talks to replace. This is big. This isn't just big. This is huge. This is monumental. This is absolutely earth-shattering in some respects. And if you're sitting there going like, come on, dude, it's just a movie. It's just Indiana Jones. I unironically own the graphic novel of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That is how big of a fan I am of the Indiana Jones franchise. Raiders of the Lost Ark is my all-time favorite movie. My favorite Indiana Jones movie, oddly enough, is Temple of Doom. But that being said, I love this franchise, and I was looking forward to one more ride with the team. I mean, we keep talking about the idea of it not happening. Spielberg's getting up there in years. Harrison Ford ain't getting any younger. So what exactly is Disney and Lucasfilm's plan to try to keep this franchise alive? Because part of that $4.08 billion purchase of Lucasfilm did come with this iconic, storied, and beloved franchise. So let's take a look here. It says, after a long development process, Steven Spielberg is handing the directing reins on Indiana Jones 5 to another filmmaker for the first time in the franchise's 39-year history. Sources say while a deal hasn't closed, Ford v Ferrari director James Mangold is in talks to take the job. Mangold has been put in this situation before when he took over the Wolverine franchise. 2017's Logan was a blockbuster, grossing $619 million globally and earning Mangold an Oscar nomination for adapted screenplay. Spielberg will remain as a hands-on producer of Indy 5, according to a source close to the filmmaker, but the decision to leave the director's chair was entirely Spielberg's in a desire to pass along Indy's whip to a new generation to bring their perspective to the story. And from there, it goes on to talk about Harrison Ford still being attached to the project. But at this point, if Spielberg is out and Lucas isn't involved, I don't see any reason why Harrison Ford would still do this movie. I just don't see any reason why Harrison Ford would jump on board. If the other two parts of this trifecta of awesome are not there, then there's really no point. And look, people out there are probably going to agree with me on this one. I don't think anyone would disagree with me on this one. There is something to be said about Kathleen Kennedy's involvement. I did do a video talking about that the other night, where she kind of like, I asked, did she already doom Indiana Jones 5? And then a couple days later, this whole thing happened. And I think in part, it has a bit to do with just the fact that it's taken this long to get made. We know that they were working on the screenplay. They've gone through a multitude of different screenwriters, and now it's either David Koepp or it's Dan Fogelman. I'm still hearing that it's David Koepp, but I could be wrong. There's been no official sources on either part of this. But really, well, it says here in the Variety article that David Koepp did leave the project, but I'm still hearing that he's still involved in the project. It's stuff I've read before. So that has yet to be seen. So that's the bad news. That the utter bad news is that Spielberg is not directing the movie. This dude is the creator of the blockbuster. This guy is the creator of many people of my age's childhoods. I'm in my late 30s. I grew up watching Spielberg and Amblin Entertainment and stuff produced by Spielberg, and how much influence and impact he has had in the film industry for the entirety of my life. And not just me, but many countless millions of other people of all ages have grown up watching Spielberg content, watching his movies, and falling in love with them because of the magic he brings to the table. And in part, a lot of that has to do with Indiana Jones. The type of story, the type of characterization, the way it always plays out, he always gets in over his head, but he always finds his way out in the end, is just awesome. And in this news on the same day Clive Cussler died is just really sad. Yeah, if you didn't hear about that, Sahara writer Clive Cussler, as well as a litany of other books, of adventure books that I think would rival Indiana Jones theatrically if they would have put better effort into it, he passed away today too, which is unfortunate. So let's try to look at the bright side of this for a second. Okay, Spielberg stepping down. At this point, I do want to say, kill the project. All right, kill the project. Just let it end with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Wait a few more years, reboot with a younger Indy if that's what you want to do, but kill Indiana Jones 5. Just let it go. Okay, that's my thoughts on this one. But Mangold is a solid choice for a follow-up. He has proven himself to be able to go into these franchises and to an extent revitalize them, right? The article did mention how he took over from Gavin Hood on the Wolverine to go, or, you know, when he went to go do the Wolverine, and the Wolverine was a far better movie than X-Men Origins Wolverine. And the follow-up a couple years later, Logan, is, my opinion, the best film of 2017. And I think it got robbed at the Oscars. And I know I'm not the only one to think that. Logan is an amazing, amazing movie with so much emotion brought to it, as well as some kick-ass action. And it was a good movie. Mangold is a good director. He's a good person to take the helm. I feel confident in his ability to tell this kind of story, but it all depends on who's writing the story. It all depends on who's the person behind it, who's putting it all together. Lucas, love him or hate him, and I don't think anyone out there actually hates the guy, is a really good person at figuring out how to build worlds and how to build characters, and then working on the story with other writers who are then able to come in and breathe life into it. At this point in time, what I would love is for Lucas and Lawrence Kasdan to come back to the table and crank out a draft, or get Frank Darabont back on board, because he did do a draft of Indiana Jones 4, and he actually was a writer on the Young Indiana Jones series back in the early 90s. So bring in some blood that was, you know, back during Indiana Jones's heyday. Again, not David Koepp. All right, I just want to reiterate that point, not David Koepp. But I think Mangold is a good person. If they're hell bent on doing it, which it appears that they are, Mangold is the guy for it. I'm fine. But then again, we've heard this before, right? So if you go back to, I think it was like May 24th or May 23rd, 2018, the day before Solo came out, news broke in Variety that James Mangold was going to be directing a Boba Fett movie. And we know how that turned out, because Solo tanked. So we know that didn't happen. So in this particular situation, it's kind of like, okay, Variety has said these things before, but things maybe not have worked out the way that they wanted them to. And we'll have to see where things go from there. But either way, this is big news. And like, this is insanely huge news, and it is devastating to me. It really is devastating to me as a fan, as a huge fan of the franchise. Grown up with it. It's my all-time favorite movie. I love, if I hear the theme song, I get jazzed up. I get pumped, right? I hear the Raiders march. I just get so into it. And to not have Spielberg's name on it as a director, to me, just kind of feels like it's not worth it. You know what I mean? It's just not worth it. They should just cancel the project. I do think Mangold is good. I love the guy. He's such a fantastic director. So he's a good choice to follow it up. But I'm a fanboy. I'm a fanboy first and foremost, all right? So that's my thoughts as it being a fanboy. But the pragmatic, pro-business, pro-entertainment industry person in me is all for this particular change. Anyway, my mind is blown. I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out. I'm still reeling from this. What do you guys have to say about this? I really want to hear your thoughts. I really want to hear your opinions, good, bad, or the other, man. This is big news. Please let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe if you're new. Hit that like, hit that bell, and I'll talk to you all later. Have a great day. And hopefully we will see Indy ride once again, but I would love it if it was Spielberg. You know, it has to be. It just has to. It doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. But anyway, your thoughts, write them below. I'll see you guys.